Mum, I want a dog. Let me get a dog. Please, please, please. Pretty please, Mum. That cry goes around millions and millions of homes where children begging for a dog. Please, Mum, I'll take care of it. No, we're not having a dog. Please, Mum, I'll feed it, I'll take it. No, you won't. Yes, I will. I'll do everything. Well, you make sure, if I get this puppy, it's your dog. You've got the responsibility. Come away, you. You've got the responsibility of looking after it. Yes, Mum, I will. I'll do everything you say. That's her dog. The one, when they misbehave, they're Margot's dog.
Yeah, right.
He's not misbehaving, he's just
sit down.
being nice.
Hey.
Yeah, I'll do everything. I'll take you for a walk every day. Doesn't matter what. You want to go out and play, you've got to see to the dog first. Yes, Mum, yes, or Mum. And you go, right, this is your responsibility. No, it's not, Mum. It's going to be your dog. Get that in your head straight away. If you're going to let your children have a dog, it's going to be your dog that you lend to the children. You can say to them, it's your dog, but you have to have in your mind, it's your dog. Because, let's say you're a little boy who's mad keen like I was on a dog. So you get him a puppy. That puppy might live for 14 years. Well, let's say he's 10, 4 years time, he might get very interested in girls and get a girlfriend. That dog is going to go out the window. When he's 16 and he's going mad, rebelling, that dog's, when you feed your dog first, I've got to go out with my friends, and slams the door and storms out. It's your dog. You're going to take care of it. And once you get that in your head, it won't be so frustrating. So you're going to get your child a dog. Now you've got to pick the right dog. Well, for goodness sake.
Well, let's have a scenario family, all right? We've got Mum and Dad,
yes.
Both work full time, because
yes.
we all work full time these days.
Okay.
And say you've got a 10-year-old boy and a 8-year-old girl.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Pretty common.
Yeah, so there's our family about to get their first dog.
Yeah. Oh, my turn.
Yes, your turn. Go right ahead. Your video, your turn.
Okay, you've got to research the breed. What sort of dog do you want? You want a pet dog? Or if this boy is madly lively, so you want a dog that's really lively and can wrestle with him and stuff like that. It's different from if you've got two girls. They want a cuddly dog they can dress up like a little doll. And that's reality, and it's a dog you've got to take care of as well. So let's say the 10-year-old boy that's mad, well, Jack Russell will fit that bill, because you can pick that dog up. It's easy to handle, but they are crazy. It will put up with anything your son does, and they can get up to mischief together out the backyards or up the woods. Not that children are allowed up the woods at their age anymore. They're not allowed. They've got a string tied to them till they're 30. So, like if you want a nice soft dog, and you've got a children that aren't that lively and crazy, my best bet for getting a dog is a cavoodle. They are the best pet dogs around. And if you want a bigger one, a ladoodle or whatever they're bloody called.
Labradoodle.
Or
a groodle.
Groodle. All them breeds, and pay out good money to go to one of the breeders.
Yeah,
who breed generations of them. And those breeders, the good ones, they bring their pups up to socialise them. They let them play in pens full of balls and things like that, and noises and all those things, to get off to a good start. And they also put their dogs out to breeding people, homes, and say, oh, I want to breed back to it. That way, that dog can grow up and they can see its temperament before they breed from it. And don't have to keep, 20 bitches. And, oh, that one's no good, that one's no good, that one's no good. So they can breed good temperament. So they're the best bets. But when you go on the internet, let's say you breed, anything you look up, they're always fabulous breeds, because that description is written by fanatics for that breed. So you look up a Ridgeback, wonderful dog. They do have a bit of a guarding tendency, so they have to have strong management, but they are good, loyal dogs. They're absolute disaster in a pet home, and I don't care if you've got one, you know, sitting at home there, you've got one. And my one's lovely, yeah, you haven't seen the bad ones. Yeah, so.
Well, that brings us to working and guard dogs, doesn't
Yes.
it? Just don't get working or guard
Do
dogs as a
not
pet.
get ever, if you've got a family and you want a family dog, do never get a protection breed of any sort. You know, unless you're in the military, your husband's in the military and he's taking it out all the time and well, he can't take it to work, but in security services, and he won't have them as pets so much. He'll have them out in the run, take them to work every night. They're protection dogs for a reason. they will attack people and try and kill them. I mean, come on, that's not the dog you want around your children. Because the likelihood of it attacking your children's children, friends, or your children is high. The ones that are killed aren't from Jack Russells, which are pretty crazy dogs. And think of your circumstances. Like if you're getting a working dog, like Kelpie, one of my favourites, and cattle dogs, you've got to exercise that dog to fulfil its needs. Now,
And that doesn't mean a 15-minute walk around the suburban block
no, it
either.
doesn't mean walking's for the mind. Running is for the physical exercise, and to be fit and healthy and have a good mind, you've got to be able to exercise properly. And that goes, we all know it for humans. A healthy human is one that exercises properly, and that doesn't mean, you know, when you're 80, that might mean just walking around the block, but when you're 20s, walking around the block and then sitting down and going on the internet for your mind doesn't mean you're going to be healthy. Well, that's exactly the same as dogs. Dogs have got to run, and run a lot more than we do. So unless you can fulfil that in some way, and there's ways you can do it, don't get a high energy dog like that. Well, I've always had high energy dogs because I go hunting, and now I'm not hunting so much. We've got a high energy dog, I go out on bikes, on a push bike. So if you can't, you can have, you know, you can, if you've got the wrong dog already, you can use a walking machine.
You mean a treadmill?
Treadmill, yeah. And if you're house proud, and I get a lot of people now that are getting their first dog ever. They've never been brought up a dog. We've got a large Indian community coming from India, and they haven't had a dog as a pet. And they're lovely people, and their children are growing up as Australians, and of course they want a dog because their friends have got a dog. You have to think to yourself, am I really house proud? Because that dog's going to make a mess. You can't have a dog and lock it out. I refuse to see people that won't have their dog indoors. So you've got to, if you're house proud, that dog's going to make a mess. It's going to bring in mud. It's going to bring in mites and other things and twigs, and when it's a puppy, it's going to wee in the house and poo in the house. And if you get a shedding breed, which is the great thing about cavoodles,
Cavoodles,
and all
basically.
that. Yeah, they're not going to molt. So if you get a Labrador, oh my God, when they molt, there's hair everywhere. So you've got to think of that. Can you cope with that? If you're house proud. If you're house proud, don't get one. Say no, kids. You can have a couple of rabbits instead.
Except if you're in Queensland, that's a $40,000 fine.
Yeah, but it doesn't apply. It doesn't happen.
Well, you wouldn't want to risk it.
And
But
guinea pigs are brand as well. They're everywhere in the pet shops. So.
there's another question relative to getting the dog, which has gone completely out of... Oh, no, I know. I was thinking about the fact that everything's so expensive these days. Like we're in,
Oh, yeah.
a crisis of everything. You can't even buy a block of cheese without mortgaging the house. And I'm thinking about the grooming costs. That's another thing with oodles because they're so popular.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
a really big
They're
deal.
a nightmare. It's the first I found out how bad they are when we got our one. About 5 weeks ago, roughly. And they're impossible for. You've got to get them cut pretty regularly, otherwise they just become a mess.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's one particular thing about them. There's ongoing costs, and people will go and pay $5,000 for a dog, then pay $1,000 at the vets for 10 inoculations series, and when they're 10 months old, the vet finally says you can take them out. I'm exaggerating a bit, but that's how it is. So they can draw out the jab and make more money. No, so they'll happily pay that. But then it comes to training the dog, they happily go to a puppy school, and some young girl who's never owned a dog in her life, you can do it. It's a list what you do. Pay that money out, but won't pay out for a really good trainer. One that you can see their videos on with their own dogs. That's the only criteria. If you're picking, and now I could say, oh, you've got to go to this particular trainer or that particular trainer. No, there's not many around. The criteria is just say, can I see your videos of your own dogs, and really watch those videos if their dog's well behaved, and think, well, that'll do me.
There's a classic example of some clients we saw recently, and they'd had a trainer in to do some outside obedience type work, which they didn't really want, mind you, but that's what the trainer decided they wanted. And then two lively dogs, and they were near the trainer's car, and the trainer said, oh, bring your dogs, take your dogs away, my dogs are in the car, and they're reactive.
I haven't known that one.
Oh, yes, that was, my mind just kind of exploded, because you've hired a trainer in good faith, because you don't know, so you're asking an expert to help you with your dogs, and they inform you that don't go near my car because my dogs are in there and my dogs are reactive. Well, then you would immediately say, thanks for coming, see you around like a record.
Yeah, so, and it's not about running other trainers down.
No.
Because that's easy, because 90% of them are absolute crap. But it's to help you make sure you see their dogs' videos and what they do. I mean, they might be a totally different style to me. You've got the protection dog trainers, but at least you can see their dog, and they will teach you some things that will really help you, because if they can train their dog to be obedient, they can teach you. They might be bad teachers, but you can copy them and you can get some results. So if you can't show you their dogs, it's a waste of time.
Well, and some trainers, though, don't show their own dogs, but they will have lots of videos up, like you and me, of dogs that they have worked with, and you've got the before and after. So that's the sort of thing you need to be looking for, is research the dog, and then B, research a good trainer, so that you've got a good basis.
And then get it home. Now, you haven't got a baby. You've snatched your puppy away from its mum and siblings. You haven't got a baby, you've got a dog. Now you can baby it, it wants cuddles, it wants love, but love isn't going to protect it. And love alone won't protect your children. Love alone won't bring your children up to be good citizens. You have to have, at some point, when you've got that puppy, bringing it up, you're going to have to be mean to it. And it's going to be, oh, and give you little doughy eyes, or it might squeal because if you frighten it. But you have to be mean, otherwise that dog will turn into a nightmare and it will suffer. And
what's your definition of mean? Because it might be different to mine. Like, how would you be mean to a puppy to help it understand something new?
If that puppy was biting me or your children, say that puppy was trying to get your 1-year-old crawling across the floor, and let's say your puppy's grown up, you've had a baby, now it's a year old, and you haven't made any rules to it, which you've got to make the rules when they're little, and you've got your baby and you put it down on the blanket on the floor and it's trying to crawl, and your puppy comes running up and jumps on it. You've got to jump up and go, whoa, don't you dare do that, and make that puppy, whoa, frighten the life out of it to stop it doing it. Going, oh, please don't do that, baby. Please don't do that to my baby. No, stay away. Oh, I'll lock you outside. And if you lock it outside, you're being mean. So, and so what's it going to do when you let it back in? It's going to go straight to what it used to do. You've got to stop its behaviour. You know, and when you're out, if you're not in charge, many dogs are anxious now because they have no one in charge. Particularly the small ones are really anxious. You see them all the time, little fluffies. They're trying to frighten everyone away because they haven't got a master in charge. They feel frightened. You know, if you had brought up your children and all you did was cuddle them, and I've seen parents like that. You know, when I'm growing up, one of my relatives married to one of my cousins, and she was like that with the kids. And they grow up, they want to keep them as babies, and they're grown up kids, and they grow up all nervous and twitchy because they haven't been given rules and given freedom as well to make mistakes, but then told off for mistakes. So you've got to be mean at times. You've got to throw it off your bed. You know, if they've got muddy paws, you've got to go, you know, coming in here, and if you scratch you and bite you, you've got to, don't bite me. And if they growl at you, you've got to be really fierce. So if you let aggression grow, dogs use aggression as a natural thing. It's natural. They don't think it's wrong to bite. You've got to tell them it's wrong, otherwise they'll just grow.
What about just thinking about puppies? There's one thing that sometimes breeders do. They've got a couple left in the litter, and then some people come to buy, and they've got one puppy left that's just maybe 10 weeks to 11 weeks, just a little bit too old now, and the breeder says, would you like the second puppy at a discount?
Yeah, and sometimes the discount is 2 for 1. They have 2 for 1, and if you got 2, it'd be so much easier because they'd play with each other. Well, that part's true. But so will all the bad habits will be absolutely for most owners. You'd have to be really experienced to handle 2 puppies, but most owners won't have the experience to handle 2 puppies because they talk to each other much better than they talk to you. They find each other more exciting than they will ever find you. So you cannot get their attention. It's really hard. So don't get 2. Whatever you do, if you can't bring up one, you can bring up one to 1 year old. If you've brought that one up perfect, then you can think about getting another one, and you know all the pitfalls, you know what happens. But if you haven't got a perfect one at 1 year old, stick to 1. You know, don't get pack. And never, I don't advise anyone to ever get 3. I see it so often. You have 2 dogs, they're perfect, and they're happy with them, then go and get a 3rd one. And then the 3rd one upsets the mix because now you've got a true pack. That and as soon as that 3rd one comes in, the whole dynamics change. Doesn't matter what that 3rd one's like, things will change. Everything will become harder, and you'll have to be a proper pack leader, and that's out the range of most people. And that's not putting most people down. It's just reality. You know, I can't be a skilled wood carver. You know, if I wanted to carve wood, I'll just hack away with it. That doesn't mean I can't have a go at it and be reasonable. But or painting and drawing, there's another example. You know, you can be a pretty good drawer, but it doesn't mean you're an expert. You know, one of the top ones. And if you're going to go getting 3 dogs, you've got to be an expert on dogs.
So just to wrap up, Mum, I want a dog. So we're back to where you started. So the key elements are what? Research the breed.
Remember it's yours, dog. Mm-hmm. Then we've got look what breed you want. What's going to fit in with your life? And then when you get it home, remember it's a dog. It's got to have rules and boundaries. And you can have all the cuddling you want. And remember it's a puppy you snatched away, so have a bit of leeway. That's about it, really.
And don't get 2.
Yeah, don't get 2. Okay, so that'll do. So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.